tempting to talk about trading card games. So this was a little bit of a topic of debate amongst me and Josh because we've played a lot of trading card games, but we're not like 100% current on like the pro level of all of them. At the moment, I'd say that we're both actively playing the smartphone game Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. That's probably the most recent competitive card game that we've played. However, there's a lot. Any thoughts on trading card games there, Josh?
I mean, well, no, I mean, nothing more than what we were talking about earlier. My big issue, really, my big, I guess you could say, hurdle that I have to get over when it comes to them is after you play them for a while, it's just all the same over and over again, just with a new face, You'll have a new monster with the exact same effect. Or people bitched about the effect. So then it'll be like a gimped version of that monster, but then, equip him with this card. Okay, now he's that monster again. So it's just very repeated things over and over and over. But no, other than that, I mean, I love card games. You have to rotate which ones you play, I would say. Otherwise, it starts to be like bang your head against the wall.
See, the part that you're talking about, there's a little bit of truth, I think really only applies to how Magic formats it and the redemption card game, which is a conversation we'll get to in a little bit.
Well, even with like Yu-Gi-Oh and all the other ones, I mean, like Fairy Meteor, Crush Effects, and things like that. They're just literally, yeah. But that's just what you call it. That's just what it is. Yeah. Boom.
Well, in Magic, we would call that trample. But okay, so to back up a little bit, we didn't get to play Magic as kids. We've gotten into our fact we were raised in a religious family, and Magic the Gathering used a lot of satanic symbols and stuff in their early sets. They did back off that a little bit, but we got to play the Christian version of it, which was called Redemption, the card game. And
you can't really call it the Christian version of that.
It's been around as long, almost.
Well, okay, fine. Maybe the gameplay was more similar to Magic, but no, the way you won was definitely Pokemon.
You save lost souls.
Yeah, you get X amount of trophy prizes, basically. 6, I think it was.
Yeah, 6 or 5, or you can change it based upon how long you want the game to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was kind of a combination of both, but it's old.
It used Bible references. There was a lot of Old Testament, New Testament Bible heroes of various kinds, and then they introduced angels later, which added like a new element. And there was a lot of fun stuff there.
It's still going to this day. They still make packs.
Yeah, it just wasn't like you said with that game in particular. There was very powerhouse cards, and you just played those cards. And if you ever try to get competitive or anything, there was very little choice in deck building style and win play style and stuff like that. So I mean, they did evolve it a little bit later, but at that point, we were into move on to other things. Even Pokemon trading card game had a little bit more competitive gameplay.
Absolutely.
But a little bit after that, I think would be Yu-Gi-Oh! Because we got really into that. You were the Kaiba deck. I was the Yu-Gi deck, I think.
Originally, I got both. At the Q-Mart, I believe it was.
No, but I mean, so I was playing the Yu-Gi deck, and I think you were playing the Kaiba deck, and that we kind of went from there. Eventually, I started building a water deck that used Neo King Daedalus. I'm butchering that name, but he's the one that you sacrifice a water card, and he will destroy all the other stuff in play, including your own stuff, except for him. And it's pretty much a win point at that point. You swing with a clean win.
Well, you get to summon him for no tribute is the number one thing.
Well, you need 1 tribute instead of 2 if you have the legendary ocean card is what I comboed it with. In the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, there's a slightly weaker variation of that with his little brother Levia Dragon. And
that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I must be thinking of Levia Dragon Daedalus or something like that.
Yeah, there's a Neo King too, and he's like a slightly stronger version that has more power, and I think there's another effect as well there.
Yeah, because it's a 5-star, and then you get it out for immediately because Umi will give you 1 less monster levels per whatever it is. So it's 5-star, becomes a 4-star, pop. It's like 20, starts at like 18.
They have this Orca Whale card that's 5-star now that they'll play for free with the legendary Ocean card that's kind of nasty. It's like 2300 attack or whatever. But anyways, so the whole point of card games, for those who haven't ever played, is, you build a deck. There's various ways to build a deck. Some places you go to a tournament and open up some packs and then build your deck there. Some Magic has drafts where you pick a card of the deck or pack you open and then hand off, and then you wind up getting the cards from the person next to you, and you keep doing this game until you build a deck. And that's my favorite. I love drafts. But essentially, once you have a deck built, you draw X cards, you shuffle each other's decks, cut, draw, and then the point would be to kill your opponent by knocking out all their life or knocking out all their cards so they can't draw a card, or some other alternative win condition that some games would have or specify.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fun because it allows players who are good at the game but don't have the same amount of money, basically, but they have the same amount of skill, if not more, to really be able to get into it. They're quite fun.
Well, that's probably the biggest hurdle for anybody to get over who go into a trading card game. And it's probably why I don't play current standard right now, because if you're going to play current standard in Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh!, you're looking at good $300 minimum for the basic competitive deck. And if you want to get like a very serious deck, you may get upwards to $1,000. And people are like, well, how is that possible? What, does one card cost $1,000? And it's like, no, but this one's like $20 and you need 3 copies of that. And this one's like $35 and you need like 3 copies of that.
Well, and see, that's another big beef that I have sometimes with card games in general, is because it'll be that for a month, maybe.
Then it goes down to $5.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, that's right, we don't like this card anymore. Or, oh, the demand's over because everybody got theirs and they kept printing and kept printing and kept printing, and it's just...
Depends on the game, yeah. Well,
yeah.
What about when you have the card, it's only $1 rare, and like you ripped it or you just put it in like some junk drawer because you didn't think it was worth anything, and then all of a sudden some other card comes out that makes it great, and then you're digging to try to be like, where is that card? It's worth like $50. I want to sell it. And you can't find it anymore because it was junk to you before.
Or it's damaged, so it's just not worth it.
Or damaged, yeah. There's another one. Because you didn't even think anything of it. You wrote a girl's number on it while you were at the bar one night because it was worth less than toilet paper.
Oh, wow. I mean, let's face it. You weren't at the bar with a girl if you're writing a number on a Yu-Gi-Oh card or a Magic card.
Well, okay. Slightly fictional situation. But, you never know. She could be a Yu-Gi-Oh player, too. I've seen maybe one girl for every 10 boys.
Yeah, and then neither of you's at the bar because you're going to buy the cheap bottle of Stoli and then save your money for more Yu-Gi-Oh cards because you're both nerds.
That's true. Actually,
I mean, in no situation will you be at the bar. Well, like, hey, baby, let's roll the cheap weed and play a game of Yu-Gi-Oh. You certainly won't be at the bar.
You might have a good job, like if you work at a pharmaceutical company or you're a doctor or something. Well, you probably would have time to play a game like that then. But you never know. I used to know these guys. They were secretive about it, right? They were so good at the game. They were like some of the top players. But then if you saw them in public and you acknowledge that they played Magic the Gathering, they were just like, don't even know you. They didn't even know you existed because they couldn't acknowledge in public that they played that game. But when you were in the room, they were like the best players ever. And it's just like the hypocrisy kind of would piss me off, but at the same time, I kind of got it. Because it's like they don't want to ruin their life by admitting one of their nerd, like, guilty pleasures.
Yeah, a lot of people. Well, that would be more Magic, I would say.
It has a bad image. You get, like, the nerd who's been in his closet, or, like, the World of Warcraft players. You get that image of, like, somebody who's in a basement all the time, in their parents' basement, and never does anything or has a job or socializes or anything. And you get that a little bit. Like, I remember the first time my wife went into Cyborg 1. You remember Cyborg 1 in Doylestown?
Yeah.
And it's great. I love it. James owns that place. He's a really awesome guy and everything. And
well, that's like, a comic book shop.
Yeah, but he hosts tournaments. He hosts really good tournaments. But then, like, the big ones, you just can't help it. There's so many sweaty guys in there that you just walk in and you're like, B.O. Oh, my God. And I remember my wife was just like, I'm dying, baby. This is horrible. And it's just like, I'm used to it, because, like, back in the day, you have video game sleepovers, I guess you could call them, where you'd all get, like, Halo 2 just came out, and we all bring our Xboxes together and TVs and get the sleeping bags and the Wawa hoagies and, just kind of go at it.
I guess if you're in, like, Pennsylvania and Jersey, you get the Wawa hoagies.
Right. We got to be a little specific. For our international and actually pretty much everywhere except Pennsylvania, Florida, New Jersey people. Wawa is a convenience store, kind of like 7-Eleven and Sheetz and Circle K, and I don't even know. Anyway, they make excellent sub sandwiches, you guys call them. In this area, we call them hoagies because they have the lettuce. And the order of the condiments on the bread is different. And then the bread itself is made by a company called Amoroso, which is real popular in Philly. So when you see the whole Philly cheesesteak thing, if it's not really a Philly cheesesteak, if it's not made on Amoroso roll. So there's that. But anyways, it's generally the same thing. But, we have a lot of pride in our local stuff.
What do you mean it's generally the same thing, man? Nothing's the same as a hoagie. I'm all the way in New Mexico.
Yeah, well, you don't get one now. So, yeah, I guess I haven't gotten to miss it. So,
Subway does not sell you a hoagie. And if you think that they do, your head is in the sand.
There's some similarities. I mean, I'm just trying to say for people that can't come to this area and try our local cuisine.
They're both delicious, but Subway does not sell you a hoagie.
I would not compare a cheesesteak anywhere, though. I remember even one time I forgot I was in Jersey. I was at a training class for a company I was working for a couple years ago, and I ordered a cheesesteak. So I was like, oh, great, it's an Italian place. Yeah, give me a cheesesteak with mushrooms, a steak on it, everything. And then I got it, and it was like the most horrible cheesesteak ever. And I'm like, why is this so bad? And then I just remembered, I'm like, oh, I'm in Jersey right now. That's right.
Hey, it's still... in a place like New Jersey, you will get a way, way better cheesesteak than...
Absolutely. Oh, than out the West and stuff?
I mean, even in Connecticut, in the short time that I spent time in Connecticut, it was clear that those people just do not understand Pennsylvania food. There's I don't know, like the best pizza, in my opinion, in the world, Pennsylvania, because you will get all the styles.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. I was going to say, I think New York makes a pretty good pizza.
I understand that. But in New York, you get mostly New York-style pizza. In Chicago, you get mostly Chicago-style pizza. In Pennsylvania,
I've never had a Chicago-style pizza.
You can get it right there.
That's true. But I mean, I never had a real Chicago pizza, though. Like, they say it's a real deep dish. Like, it's not like that deep dish you get from, Pizza Hut or whatever. But anyways, all right, we're going off topic. We're starting to get into cuisine and stuff. But we're essentially, the nerding out. When you nerd out, you get a lot of food. And even with these card games, we would sit here and prep for tournaments or just make local tournaments, and somebody would throw in a rare card as the prize or something. That's the beauty of these games, is that they created, local internal economies amongst us. It'd be like, well, what do you value that card at? And this and that, and trade certain things, or let somebody borrow something, then they let you borrow their cards of equal value. And there's a lot of trust and friendships, and sometimes friendships broken over it because cards would get stolen. Got nothing? That never happened to you?
I mean, maybe a little bit. I don't know about stolen, but I remember way back in the day. If you want a story about that, you'll be. I guess it was a church at the time because we were raised religious, and you'll have your cards. This other person will have your cards. They'll do something that'll make you drop your cards. You're ready to throw down. It's like, what have you damaged my Pikachu, bitch? I'm gonna break your nose.
Wow.
Stolen cards and stuff? No, I never had an issue with that.
Oh man, I've had decks where I face people where they'd build a deck that would be like that. You take somebody else's control of somebody else's card, and they'd wait until it was the win con and just be all like, oh, well, that was a great game, and take their cards and be like, you have my ultra rare in your deck still because you took enemy control or whatever. Oh yeah. And then sometimes once you get sleeves, well, that was the thing with trading card games. You got your mats, you got your sleeves, you got all types of your dies and your little counters and everything. Not quite Dungeons and Dragons level of nerd, but about one step back, and that's about it. Because you're using almost all the same equipment to make the game effective.
Actually, now that you mention that, digital card game. Oh man, Pathfinder Adventures, I believe it's called, by BioWare or Obsidian Entertainment. I think it's Obsidian Entertainment. And oh yeah, that their dice rolls, Dungeons and Dragons style dice rolls are involved in the card game. It's pretty cool.
So randomized battle results, you mean?
Sort of. You just kind of need to make sure that what you play will be OP enough that the chances of you getting that low dice roll are low. Or
Sounds like you're talking to like Tetramaster, man.
well, not exactly, not exactly.
That's a
But
whole separate conversation, people. But that's a
similar,
Final
yes.
Fantasy IX mini game card game, which is we like card games. Just in case anybody was wondering, even though Josh has been complaining about them a whole bunch.
Well, Tetramaster is a little bit different with like how you can use the magic versus the physical, and then things like that. The defenses, it's not quite as random as you would think. But Pathfinder Adventures, when you started out, you're kind of like, damn it.
See, I
rolled
don't.
a 2 or higher, and of course you rolled the 1, which made you lose, that head-on head. Whereas if a 2 or above would have won it for you per se on that 1 die, and then sometimes you'll have dice. You can add multiple different kinds. You'll have 1, 12, 2, 8s, or it's very nifty.
With the same monster, you mean?
Yeah, like you
Okay.
can do certain things, and certain creatures will be able to use like an intellect die, or like a wisdom die, or a courage die, or just a power die. And certain ones are higher and lower. Certain people are strong against it. You get bonuses. It's very nifty. It's just a cool card game. Now, I have no idea if it's real. It's digital. I believe it's only digital, but
It's easier to ship that way.
It's funner than hell.
I was going to say Shadow Era was probably the first all digital trading card game that I tried.
Oh, yeah.
You remember Shadow Era? It was real basic at first, the multiplayer, but it was clean. The only thing was the cards, there were so few cards that like 2 decks were top. And if you didn't play those, like I think it was like a werewolf deck, and then there was like some other deck. And if you didn't play those, you were screwed. So I don't know where they've gone since, but I remember that was probably one of the cleaner ones I tried. Pokemon's trading card game is really good on iOS.
I have not tried that yet.
You have to have the real cards, and then there's like a little on the back there's a digital card. But screw that, man. If you just want to play digital, Amazon.com you can get batches of these. I got like 2 or 3 batches of booster boxes of these things for like $5. And you get 36 boosters. You redeem all those in the game, and you got a ton of cards, more than you could ever handle, and trade and do all types of stuff with. It's great. Granted, some people don't want to pay money. Pokemon does give you free cards that you can earn as well.
That's a big thing of the future. I believe card games will probably die. I mean, when you look at some of the comment sections, and the worst part about it is, because I have an Apple device, so I'll be looking through the walled garden comments, and God damn, these people are entitled. I mean, it'll be like, oh my God, like, why can't this game, blah, 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 and they'll just be bitching, and I can't think of any perfect examples right now, but I mean about everything. Everything from gameplay mechanics to story for like a 99-cent game, or a free-to-play game, where realistically the game will be like 70% free-to-play, and then 30% buy.
Yeah.
And they're bitching, and I'm like, do you have any idea how much your phone costs? It's 99 cents. Oh, I'm sorry, darling.
Well,
nobody stresses me out. These people can't pay 99 cents for a whole game.
Those free-to-play games, they make more money than you could imagine, though.
Well, I know, but you expect them to pay $3.99 or $2.99 for a pack of cards?
No, with Shadow Era. Shadow Era was trying to get that.
No, I mean real life trading card games.
Oh yeah.
Well, right now, I think they're gonna die.
Magic's had that price for their boosters for a long time, man. And
but they're old nerds. They're old nerds doing the old way of things, which is good. They're getting out and they're doing stuff. They're going to the comic book shop. So many people are just in the house, whether they don't have any friends, or whether they have like a good old-fashioned condition. They're in the house a lot more. You see a lot more of that, which I think is what makes the internet networking when it comes to some of these card games so popular. Like, you like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and it's very different. Three instead of 5. Yeah. Look how popular it is, because
it's clean though, and
it's right on your phone.
They didn't introduce any of those really super broken cards that they had in the beginning. They just avoided all those.
Well, that's just cheating though. That just shows to go like how bad of a card game it was to begin with.
Yeah, well, everybody's learning. Like, I'm designing that one card game that I've told you about, and it's not easy to design a card game. Like, balance is hard. Like, you'll have one card and it'll be like, is this going to be too powerful?
It's not super difficult either, but I think what happens is when you get so many people involved in actually making effects of cards and things like that, that this person doesn't really even know that this card exists. which is
You're talking
horrible.
about like a testing team, a development team, a this team, and that team.
Those things don't come until you get a lot of people on the project, and sometimes you get this moment in time where you have people creating cards who don't even know every card's effect, or don't even really know what some cards are capable of, who will go, oh wait, no, that'll be a problem.
Well, once you start to get to the 1,000 or more cards, I bet that becomes a serious problem.
Well, and that's why you get banned monsters. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh! For the longest time, Monster Reborn was banned for tournaments and things like that. But you know how many monsters and cards and effects bring monsters back from the graveyard?
Well, Monsters Resurrection was made then in response.
So it's like, what is
where you have to discard a card from your hand for the effect.
No, but I mean, there's even some creature effects that allow you to bring a monster from the graveyard right to the field. It's almost more powerful than a Monster Reborn to begin with was, because it's a creature in of itself. So I just found it funny.
They tethered it to the life of the creature, though, and that's not as strong as you would think. Like,
True.
There's some that are tethered to a magic. Like, there's this like dog tags one now, and you play that, and you can return a creature. You have to sacrifice a creature you control, but then you can return a creature from the graveyard into play. So it's like, that's expensive, but you can combo the hell out of that.
Well, there will be a lot of cards you're not going to see in
Recursion.
Just a lot. Like, right off the top of my head, you won't see Exodia ever.
They had an event in Duel Links where you could play Exodia, but it was a special tournament room, and Exodia was artificially added into your deck.
Oh, okay. Well, what else was I thinking? Magical Hats is not very good.
Magic, Duel of the Planeswalkers?
No, Trap from Yu-Gi-Oh! Still on Yu-Gi-Oh! Magical Hats. In the Duel Links version, since you only have 3 pieces on the board,
there's some cards that get a lot weaker.
If you have one other monster out, forget about it.
There's a lot of cards that are much, much weaker. Certain other things that I would note is the Magic and Spell and Trap slots, like, you can lock people out with monsters and stuff that lets you switch their spot over to your opponent's team, and you can dump weak crap over there and then block their spots and kind of do like a stasis. Yeah.
Sword Hunter became useless, kind of, because, you know what I mean? He'll max out at 30, 50, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And he'll take up all your magic and trap slots. So it's kind of like, no, dude, sorry, I'm good with that.
Keeper of the
you have other. Yeah, I was about to say you have other cards that'll just like gain 500 when they whack a monster. So, and it doesn't take up a magic and trap slot. So it's kind of like, well, all right. So there's going to be a lot of cards that are just useless, or they may not even bring into the game in Duel Links, which stresses me out a little bit because there's just, there were so many fun decks.
I will say with Duel Links, though, you don't, like, you were talking about this before we started streaming, but I don't agree with you on the sense that you need as much money as you think. A lot of the best cards are from the card trader, and then the other good cards are from, like, Kaiba. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not to say there's not great cards that you can get from those sets, but you do get handed a lot of free gems.
No, what I was saying is with resetting the deck boxes.
Yeah, you can get as many as you need.
My very specific words here, you know what I mean? You can't just, a lot of money. No, not necessarily. But with resetting the deck boxes, you can build decks that are as good, if not better, than leveling up the characters to unlock specific cards. You flat out can.
I mean, you can definitely build some compelling decks, I agree. But I think that without doing all of the above, like if you just skip the card trader, or if you just skip Kaiba's cards, or even some of Yugi's cards, or some of the level up cards that you get, like Mai has this one control card that's really great at like level 20.
Okay, but you're looking at it from a way where you want to have like 20 decks. Look at our brother, who shall remain unnamed. He just wants his one awesome deck.
Yeah, well, there's different archetypes of players. You have the Spike, right? And the Spike's like, I have to win every time. I have to win tournaments. I have to have the best cards. And I have the best cards so I can smash every opponent. And then you have me and you are more like what is called a Johnny, who's like, oh, well, this card and this card seems interesting. And we put these together, we can make a deck that just kills everybody. And then you got Timmy. And Timmy would be like our brother who shall not be named. And Timmy's are like, this card's freaking awesome, and I'm going to use this card till the day I die.
I'll build the whole deck around this one card I have one of.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's fun, but it's hard.
You get, like, there's other archetypes, like, I think Melvin is, like, the collector. The guy who has to have at least one card of every card in the set, even if it's completely useless.
I like that, yeah. I like collecting stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of have a little Melvin in me, too. And then there's a couple other personalities.
You can make multiple decks. You know what I mean? Which is the fun part about it. Because if you play with that same deck over and over and over and over and over, you're not prepared for new strategies.
Mm.
You'll be like, wait, how did you do that crap? And it's just like, what do you mean, how did I do that crap?
And
Oh,
as you know,
I
trading
have
card games
five of that card, and
always coming out with new cards.
yes, yes. Well, see, no, that's where I disagree.
Well,
It's
you're
like,
talking about sometimes they do what's called a efficient reprint, meaning it's the
yeah,
exact same card with a different name.
they'll just rebrand it. Yeah, and MMO RPGs do the same thing. You know, once the game's been out for a year, 2 years, you just release new content, and the mechanics are the same. So maybe you'll die once or twice, and then you're like, oh, I see. I step on this panel, and okay, don't get hit by that. And if I do get hit by that, do this.
Oh
And
look, it's a Luna
it becomes
monster with it.
very methodical, and then it's
Yeah.
not fun anymore. I'd rather be challenged and dying and just getting like owned than it'd be so damn methodical.
Yeah, but then you get. I mean, we're gonna go a little into gaming here, but Final Fantasy XI had this one monster called Absolute Virtue, and I was obsessed with this monster for like a year, trying to. And a lot of people were. I wasn't the only person trying to understand how to beat him because Square Enix made it almost impossible. And when you found out the true way to do it, it was so hard to do that people couldn't even really do it till the level cap got raised. And it was you had to wait until he used a limit break because he had access to all the limit breaks that had existed at the time of his creation. And when he used a limit break, then a player who had that same limit break had to use it within 2 seconds, and then that would lock him from using it. And believe it or not, players in 11 are amazing. They could kill him, but he had this one ability, the White Mage's limit break, which is a complete heal, instantaneous heal of the whole team. And so he could use that over and over again. So like you could have him down to 5% and he could completely heal himself. So people knew this, and even knowing this, he could trounce people. So like sometimes even that get I want to get stomped is like there needs to be some balance to the game. What about those people that died trying to fight Pandemonium Warden for 18 hours?
Well, I don't think it really matters much anymore because can't people like one Beastmaster take out like Divine Might or something?
Well, yeah, now, but I meant like they stopped monsters will despawn after 2 hours. It's like if you can't kill them in 2 hours, sucks for you.
Yeah, they got us. Another thing that happened is games became very I don't know casual. You know, they're trying to make them
Filthy casuals.
Yeah, they're trying to tailor them to the damn filthy casuals, and it's just because they're following the generation of people that played these games instead of following the broad spectrum of people that played these games. They're following basically the millennial generation, and well, that's just stupid and shitty because the millennial generation, what's going to happen is a lot of them are having kids. A lot of them don't even play video games anymore, so they're like, oh well, let's make these games casual so they still can instead of like no, just move on to the next generation.
Well, I mean, some games, like, I don't know, like, some games, a lot of players aren't going to leave them. So don't change the game to get new players in. Just keep the players you have. Yeah, after a certain point. But then I get where some, like, for instance, we're doing a new podcast. So we like to try new things and get new listeners. But at a certain point, there's going to be a time where we're not going to be concerned about new listeners. We're going to want to keep the listeners we have and not ostracize what they're used to. So I kind of think of it the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's very simple. I mean, maybe I'm simplifying it, but it seems very simple to me. You just add new features that don't break old features. That's all you have to do. Because then they'll be like, wow, that's a cool new feature. Wow, that's a cool new feature. But instead, they will flat up change up the games. Like that was a big beef that a lot of people have with 14. You know, it's just a gear grind. That's all it is.
Well, even trading card games do this now too. It'll be like you keep opening those packs. You really only want 2 copies out of the set. Everything else is like meh.
But that's actually what people prefer. And it seems like when it comes to some MMOs, they want that card they got. You know, they want that hairpin. They want that helmet. That shield that they got
sounds more like
to be just as good as anything else, depending on who you're fighting right now. Whereas in Final Fantasy 14, I mean, as soon as the next set comes up, you need the next eye level because it's got the same stats, just higher numbers of them. Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again.
Star Wars: The Old Republic kind of does that too.
And it's a fun game, and the sad part is when World of Warcraft and that are the 2 best MMORPGs out, probably right now based on subscription numbers, like it just was mind-boggling. It's
I,
flashy, and it's a grind, and
I
that's
thought
it.
14 has a card game in it, doesn't it?
Well, they just took Triple Triad from 8, which is cool because they got new cards and things like that,
Okay,
and
so
maybe
they
maybe
did.
a few new rules. But yeah, like
Three by
they're
three
coming
grid and
out.
everything still.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
they're coming out with an expansion soon for the whole game and everything. Go up to level 70. I don't know. Part of me's excited, but then part of me's like, it's gonna be the
You
same
just don't
game.
want to drop $40 on it.
Well, no, that's not the big deal. It's just so you'll get the cool new story. Oh, you get new zones to fly, and you get some new classes, but these new classes start at level 50. Well, God forbid somebody had to level up. Just like, yeah, with Heavensward, the new classes started at 30. The Arcanite, Astrologian, Machinist, they all started at level 30. And they're just jobs. There's no class attached to them. There's nothing to level up. They're just,
You're
I
saying
don't
there's a lot
know.
more time sink.
Yeah, they're removing the time sink, actually. Because, I'm already at level 50, so I get to this point in the game. Boom. Start your new class at level 50. Like right now, the cap's at 60. So when the
Yeah.
new expansion comes out, you'll do a couple quests probably. Boom. New class at 50. So you're only 10 levels down. Grind, and then the not super old areas, boom. I mean, and I'm okay with that. I am. Red Mage looks fun. Samurai looks great, but it's the grind. So these new classes that are basically rebranded old classes, like, oh, okay, here's the move that lowers him to slicing damage. Oh, I see. And can't be stacked with the other moves. Oh, okay. And here's the 28-second DOT move. Oh, okay. It's like it's the same shit with a different name and a different outfit,
Yeah.
and it just is stressful.
Same issue we were talking about with card games. Just saying.
Whereas 11, I swear to God, 11 did not have that. Before they took the level cap off 75, Final Fantasy 11 was spectacular.
Yeah. Well, there's still, there's some improvements that they did that I wish they could keep, but still keep the 75 thing too. Like the travel between crystals improvement was awesome. There was a whole bunch of easy movement, teleportation, ease of movement improvements. There was a lot of ways that quests and things could be built and that you could get gear that made it more fair, even in like link shells and guild equipment or guild sets and stuff. Guild people couldn't just like a guild leader couldn't just leave and then you've been working 3 months just to prove that you were loyal and had enough points to get that one drop or what anybody who's played MMOs knows what I'm talking about. To everybody else this sounds stupid, but then you've been working hard every Saturday, going in, doing your duty and helping with your guild, and you didn't get crap, and then somebody had a fight with so and so and now nobody's doing anything. And you're like, what the hell? I've been doing this whole time and I have
Well, and I
nothing.
mean, I'd kind of prefer that attitude now that I'm older. Is be hardcore. Yeah, I'll be there 3 days and I'll get the drop on day 4. Because this attitude of give me handouts, give me my drop right away. People bouncing from let's just call them guilds, makes it easier. From guild to guild to guild until they get what they want. It's just like why you can't. It's just frustrating. The player base will kill any game. And that's what people don't understand. They like, oh, well, I made a really cool game. Why is it failing? Well, because your really cool game had a bunch of features that douchebags like. You didn't think about this, so the game's mostly filled with douchebags. So cool people go, they get treated like crap, and then they don't want to come back and play your game. You
Yeah.
know, and well, I don't want my game to be too hard. But
Also
people who are
applies to
willing,
trading card games. It's
but
funny how
people
these are
who
kind of
yes,
linked.
but people who are willing to work hard in an MMORPG are generally the type of people who are willing to help each other. So when you make a game a certain level of difficulty, you automatically weed out the bad players. 11 just weeded out the bad players. It was like, look, dude, one member of a 6-person experience party will F you up. One member. One effing member. Oh my God, I got a link, I got hate, you're dead, you're all dead. You're all dead. Okay, not this, oh, just he'll die and there'll be no real consequences. No, the whole shit is fucked. So fuck you, get the fuck out this game. And yeah, oh, you're being an asshole. But it weeds out the bad players, and then so everybody can then be civil once the bad players are gone. But some of these other games, it's just like quick troll central. They make these great features like the Duty Finder, where you can just join in and then leave.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. But they're trying. It's funny because they're trying to make it easier for you to connect with other players.
Yes,
But by
they're not
making it
thinking.
easier to connect with other players, you're making it easier for lazier, inexperienced, and douchebag
Yes,
players to join events.
yes, and then God forbid, like even since there's no, what's the right word? I believe it's inflection. Since there's no inflection in text, when you write a message to them trying to help them out, oh, you're an asshole. How dare you tell me how to play my class, you insulting pig. And it's like, Now I don't even want to play my
I
fucking
always
game.
liked it when
Right.
people gave me feedback because it'd be like, "Oh, is that how you do it? Okay, I'll try it." And then if I don't think it works, then I'm like, "Ah, it didn't really work for me, but I tried it." You
No, but
know,
people are super defensive. People are super defensive, and there's so many, not to get into politics and modern current events, but there's a lot of SJWs now playing MMOs, because they can retreat into their little fucking world where they can pretend to be a girl because in real life they have a penis, and biology is not a social construct, and then no, no,
gender.
no,
That's called crossplay, I believe.
and then they have these attitudes that things should just be handed to them, and they can have whatever they want. It's like, no, God forbid you worked for something.
That's not just. I mean, that's not just
No,
players
but
that are
it's that type of
cross-playing.
players. No, I'm not saying that. But it's that kind of players that
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of. It's like, dude,
beggars. We used to
yeah.
call them beggars in EverQuest. Remember the begging ability? You could actually walk
No,
up to NPCs and beg for money, and they'd actually sometimes give you some money. Or if you piss them off enough, they'd kill you, just attack you and kill you.
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean that's a whole other thing though too, because what is it? Factions. You're not
Yeah.
seeing a lot of that in games anymore. Some
I
games you will see
wish.
it in, some you don't see it in, but a lot of the times, kill on sight. Oh, you can't
Mhm.
go there. You have to actually be careful in a game. Nah.
Remember played an enchanter, cast like I'm a dark elf right now, and then you're in like the dark elf place, but then your illusion spell starts wearing off, and you turn back into your regular form, and everybody just kills you.
Well, the worst part about it is, oh gosh, I just lost my thought. To be honest.
Well,
Oh
let's.
yeah, the new ones though is it makes everybody a winner. Oh, it's like this participation trophy for MMOs.
They call it a
Everybody
login
gets
bonus.
everybody. No, 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 no. I mean like everybody's the warrior of light. Everything's perfect. Everything's wonderful. Everybody gets to get all the wonderful effects of everything. And oh, God forbid somebody was mean to you. Oh, we'll just ban them for 2 days. Like oh man, I
How else do you suggest they should deal with the scumbags and crap, though?
can't.
Like, it's easy to complain about this stuff, but like, what would you do?
Just ban the fuckers. I mean, blacklist them. Call it a day. It's flat. It's so simple to blacklist somebody. It's the same thing with Twitter. It's the same thing with all these things. All these girls. I'm being harassed online and I don't know what to do. Block them. Oh, but there's more. Block them. Oh, there's so many guys. Block them. I mean, oh, I had to block 1,000 guys. Maybe you should ask yourself, are you a bitch?
Well, what if? Okay, what about like people are getting like Ben Shapiro is getting attacked by anti-Semitic stuff by like
If you get death threats,
mass.
report them to the police. I don't see what the problem here is. But if you're just being bugged by annoying people, just block them. You know?
I agree. I agree.
If you're being horribly sexually harassed, that could actually be, if it's legitimate, taken to the police as well. I mean, I don't see a huge problem here. For the most part, people can be just blocked. But, people got these ban hammer happy times, so they always want to run to the GM and get people banned for 2 days or 24 hours or whatever. Oh, that'll teach him he won't be able to play his game. A fellow loser I could probably connect with that I have 99 things in common with and one uncommon. God forbid I relate with him on the 99 things I have in common. Let me get him banned for 2 days.
When you're angry, you don't think about the 99 things.
No, you don't. I mean, I've never been banned, thank God. But I've had quite a few of my friends have.
I
I
got
have been
warned
reported.
by a GM once.
No, I've never got warned. I have been reported, but that's just from a player saying they're reporting me.
I was
That's probably
trolling a
like-
troll, and it kind of got a little heated
Yeah. Me too.
on the shout channel. And then the GM was like, "I see what you were doing. I saw the log, but you were just making things worse. So can you cut it out?" And I was like, "Oh, fine."
Well, mine was during a raid. And people were just being complete assholes, and so I started just kind of burning them to the ground. And so they're, I'm going to report you. I'm like, go for it. You're aware GMs have access to the chat channels. Everything you said right here. You know what? They probably won't even contact me. They'll go, just another raid battle. Throw it in the trash. Never even heard from a GM if they actually even reported me. Or that guy was like, oh, he's probably right, and got all demoralized. God forbid he clicked a few buttons and actually reported a player. Not that I'm for reporting players, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It's like when the player should be reported, they'll get demoralized, like nothing will happen.
Well, I remember back in 11 when there was like gill sellers, Chinese players would like come in mass on computers, and you would try to report them, and they would have these names like Z333, or not, they didn't have numbers, but like it'd be
Not even that.
ZIII, ZIIIE.
No, they don't even bother now. Now it'll just be like BGFTH94QF.
Wow.
Yeah. There'll be like 5 towers or 6 towers. In Final Fantasy 14 specifically.
Oh, so they still have guild selling as an issue? I don't
Oh my
recognize it
god,
anymore.
dude! When A Realm Reborn, when they first remade the game after 1.0,
Mm.
after beta and all we came in, it was horrendous.
Mm.
I mean, you could not, like, at first I was reporting them. I'm like, oh, I'll take the time to make a full report here. Oh, then it got just way too much. I mean, way, 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 way too much. You're getting personal tells, there's shouts. It's just, I mean, I'll be logged in for 2 minutes. Boom, bye,
Oh, you're talking about the guild buying tells.
yeah.
I remember that.
So
I
you just
remember
block,
that. I
blacklist,
only played 14
blacklist.
for a little bit. It was good. I think I got to like level 50, and I was
It's
just like,
wonderful.
this is
It's
like
a
vanilla
really,
ice cream. It's
it's
like
a really, really
tasty.
fun game. Me and my wife, we love it. It gives us a great time to play together. Now that they've added over leveled content, some of the previous content in the game, you can just do what's called unsynced. So you can just go in at like at the higher level for the lower level dungeon, and me and her can do that, just the two of us. So
Yeah,
it gives me and my wife something fun to do, which
yeah.
is
That's how
cool.
11 is too now.
Yeah, and now with the new, that's one reason we're both very excitable about the expansion is we get new classes, but we're both
Higher levels.
99, 99% confident. Yes, we'll get to our level 70, and then we'll be able to do all the Heaven's Ward content um, unsynced together, which would just be awesome because there's still some glamour
You
weapons.
could also just find some good player
Glamour,
friends too.
so let me explain. Glamour is just vanity. You can just put it over what you're actually wearing. So, but there's still some glamour weapons I haven't got from certain dungeons, and it's just like, oh, do I really want to do a level 55 dungeon with a bunch of noobs to get this sword? And the best way to do
I
it is to
got
play
you.
the
I
class.
understand.
Yeah, the best way to do it is to play the class that you want the weapon on, because then you can need it and make sure you get it if it drops. And you're like, oh, so I got a tank for
Now,
noobs.
regardless, oh wow, my vapor cloud got a little crazy there. Regardless, though, I would say trading card games and MMORPGs are lifestyles. They suck a lot of time out. I know Magic, we would play
Well,
every Friday. I would go to Friday Night Magic.
I
Um,
think it's not so much that it's lifestyles at all. I think it's the way the brain works. You know what I mean? The kind of tactical thinking that you need to have to play a card game is the same tactical thinking that you need to have to play in an MMORPG. Because say if you go to a tournament and well, this is horrible. This is a bad example because if you're like a hardcore nerd, you'd know damn near every card that's out. But say you go to a tournament and a guy's got a deck you've never seen before, you're going to have to adapt your deck to beat him. And that's exactly how it is in an MMORPG. Oh, I've been playing Black Mage for all these boss fights. Oh, new boss fight, same Black Mage. I have to adapt my Black Mage to beat him. So I just think it's the tactical thinking that attracts card game players and MMORPG players together. Same thing with
yeah,
Monster Hunter. A lot of my friends in MMORPGs that I
like
have,
Monster Hunter as
they
well.
play Monster Hunter as
But
well.
that's because of the grind, too. Like some of the drop percentages on some of the rare equipment, you got to kill a monster a bunch of times. And if you haven't played an MMO, you don't have that kind of patience.
Yeah, well, that's how it is now. They kind of in 14 weekly drops is kind of how they did it to you. So you'll grind, 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 and then drops you could take will drop, but you're like, fuck, that's not the one I want. So you pass, pass, pass till the one you want comes, and then
Yeah, no, I understand.
so the grind is there still a little bit, and I kind of enjoy that because raids are fun. But I just hate that it's the eye level. Eye level just keeps going up and up and up. I'd almost prefer they've moved into merits now almost. You know, like well, as a tank, you can wear strength jewelry or vitality jewelry. Well, that's great and wonderful, but let me like really train into my strength or really train into my vitality. That way,
Or
it's like,
enmity. Remember the enmity merits?
yeah, exactly. That way, it's like, oh, my white mage has to heal the crap out of me because I don't have a lot of vitality, but I'm dealing balls damage and losing no hate.
Yeah.
Or it's oh my god, I'm a 5 gallon bucket of HP, and I'm hitting for nothing. Like that's kind of what a paladin is. Paladin's got the high defense,
Yeah.
not a lot of HP, but a high defense, and then it doesn't deal a lot of damage. So it's like
You have a lot of immunity to damage,
yeah,
attacks, enmity
or damage
gain
mitigation,
stuff,
damage
yeah.
mitigation abilities.
Stun stuff.
Oh yeah, in 14 they can their stun is on their global cooldown, so it's just like pop every 2 seconds you can stun.
Does it stick every time though?
Well, no, because the monster built up stun resistance, but they
Okay.
can stun every 2 seconds. So if there's like 5 monsters ahead of you, pop, 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 pop. A warrior's not doing that. A dark knight's not doing that.
No, I see what you're saying.
22 seconds or 20 seconds or something for them. Yeah.
Mm.
So Paladin's great in 14. I really enjoy it.
I played White Mage. I'm always a healer.
Yeah, well, but see, you like to be a healer because it's different. You're not going to be able to run in there and whack on a monster. In 11, it's like, hey guys, we're just XPing. I'm gonna club the monster while I heal y'all. That is not gonna happen in
14. Well, I don't do that in 11, honestly, either, unless I'm with friends I trust.
Well, you'll deal magic damage if you want, if you're really good.
Again, friends I trust.
Yeah, but
I won't screw around with my MP pool because I could be around idiots, and if I'm out of MP and they start dying, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it'll all be MP because there's no like weapon skills really for mages. It doesn't really work like that in 14. But yeah, you can get in there and holy, and some of the good white mages, damn yeah, man, they're healing everybody. They're coming in there AOE holying and getting the DOT arrows on the big guys. Yeah, so white mage can be very influential, especially because it has some DOTs and it has damage dealing abilities. But you have to be the right kind of white mage. If you're the type of white mage who's going to
Scholar?
Well, Scholar's just like a pet healer. So the way that Scholar works is if you're doing like, not say a hard fight, say you're not doing a raid, say you're just doing like a dungeon, you know, you're just doing a dungeon run. Man, if your tank is really, really good, or you have a paladin, well, let's say warrior or paladin. Dark Knight needs to be healed for the most part because they're just a little squishy. But a warrior can drain HP pretty good, and a paladin is just so tough. The fairy pet can almost do all the healing. All the healing. So then the scholar can just DOT, and make sure there's poisons and miasmas on everybody.
I see what you're saying.
But on a real fight, yeah, your scholar should drop some of the AOE buffs and shields throughout the fight. But yeah, even on the big fights, a good scholar, oh my gosh, I've seen incredible things because the pet will heal and you can heal.
Yeah, of course. That's why I played scholar and summoner when I had played. I would have usually did white mage, but you know, already playing so many other base
White mage is fun, but yeah, I haven't gotten it even up to 50. But I
didn't like leveling the conjurer. It just seems so slow in 14.
Well, because you're standing around, probably you're unsure of yourself at low levels, so you're like, should I wait and just heal him? But no, man, at low levels you can be like arrow, stone, one cure, stone, one cure, arrow, stone, cure. Like on the first couple dungeons, sometimes I'll be.
That's not how you do it in 11 though. Freaking 11 as a white mage, you're just like, wait. Okay, they're doing a special attack. Let me start my cure. Okay, they're about to die. Oh, the cure went off. Okay, good. They're not dead now.
Boss fights, yes. Any of like the level 30 and above and boss fights, you know, yeah, you got to be careful. You got to make sure to remove your poisons. There's your game mechanics and all that. But I'm talking like the first 3 dungeons of 14, Conjurer is boring if you stand there. But man, you could like damn near, you could just like run ahead of the tank almost. Almost. If you have a good tank, it'll pull right off you.
Yeah. Big ifs. That's usually what you're waiting for in 14 is a tank or a healer.
Yeah,
I think that's why we play them, because we used to get in parties easy. Be like, all right, let's queue. Bing! I remember the little party finder.
You don't queue in 14, but you don't queue in 11. That was the thing. 11, it was just kind of, but see, let me go back. See, that was what's great about 11. And it's like, you're going to tank for like 20 pulls. And I know you're not a tank, but you're going to tank for 20 pulls. That would just never happen in 14 because it's like, no.
That's how Ninja became a tank.
Yeah, the algorithm of the game is just like, nope.
People are like, can you use Utsusemi and just eat those hits and then cast your next Utsusemi and that's 7 hits and we think we can kill the monster by then. And then Ninja Tank was born. So they started fighting monsters that didn't cast any area of effect spells and ta-da, big slow hits and there you go. Ninja Tank was great for those. And Paladins would get stomped by stuff Ninja Tank could handle.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I mean, I really don't know about that. There, for instance, I know this is horrible because it's like level 99 now and all that, and this is like level 50 area, but Altep Desert somewhere, you go down into the quicksand caverns and stuff, man, ninjas could not handle those spiders. They do sickle slash, and it was wow, 1,400 critical damage. Fuck you. It's like, wait.
But if they had their shadows up, it wouldn't hit them.
Shatter.
If they had their shadows, they were bad ninjas.
Sickle slash was a multiple hit.
Yeah, you're right.
So I was like, pow, 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 pow. So they got a critical. Oh my god, it was just so. But
horrible. You shouldn't be XPing on spiders because it's AOE slow too. There's better XP. Like now that I've gotten like back on there again, I'm like realizing like some of the things that players didn't make any sense. They were missing really good zones to XP in, but you know, we're just all habits. I leveled up my X in that zone, and I know the monsters, and I know where they spawn. So let's go there. I know a good camp. And then there was like the Camp Sitaris website, so it'd be like, I'm level 33, so let's see what Camp Sitaris says. Well, it says there's these 3 spots. I hate that zone. Okay, let's do this one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in the world in 11, if we're just directly comparing like 11 to other MMORPGs, basically, and like EverQuest even might fall into that, is the world was just massive.
Yeah, EverQuest was massive too.
Yeah, and so that's how it was. It was like, man, this is a journey. This is gonna take me 40 minutes just to get where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
I better be prepared. I better know what I'm doing, and I better not die once I'm out there. But now it's just, oh, I died. I'll be right back. Teleport. Okay, I'm back.
Well, also a lot more
35
characters
seconds.
have resurrection type spells, and the penalties aren't as bad.
That's not really true. That differs from.
Scholars have it, red mages have it, paladins have it. At least in 11.
Well, scholars will have it because they're a healer. They fall into the healer class.
Yeah.
The other one will have it. The only non-healer who had it is summoner right now,
Mm.
because summoner and scholar come from the same base
From the
job. They
same
have
base job,
resurrection.
yeah.
Or base class. So summoner can do it, but it pisses me off. That's another thing that pisses me off is a lot of these people, they don't level up these other jobs. They don't look into their additional abilities. I have been with max level people. So I guess it's 60 right now.
Mm.
And I'm like, why aren't you resurrecting our white mage summoner? I don't have a resurrection. It's like, really, you don't have resurrection, you twat waffle. Oh, what do you mean, It's like a level 23 ability. What were you doing? What were you doing at level 23 that you don't even know your class, but you're level 60 now?
They
And like
probably, it's like their side John, and they're just grinding it to get that leveled up, and they didn't
no,
even
because you
care.
just right click their name and hit view profile and see every job and every level.
Mm.
And it's
I
like,
never
oh,
did
so this
that.
is your main class, huh?
Back in
Really rough.
EverQuest, if you checked somebody, it was like
Nah.
looking up a skirt, man.
Yeah. Oh, no,
You didn't do
examine.
that.
Examine. Right click and examine.
Yeah.
In 11, you could set yourself anonymous, so people wouldn't know what your level was, and they'd always do that to the person that you were carrying. You know what I mean? When it's like, oh, we got a level 9, or not, that's how bad it is. We got a level 19, but we're all 23. Go slash a non, bitch. Like,
Yeah, so that way nobody would know. It's like, especially if it was like a mage, it'd be like, look, just keep us alive. Your
Yeah,
experience is going to kind of be crappier, but you'll get some.
Yeah, and white mage is a big part of that. It's like, trust me, we'll be fine as long as you can heal a tank.
It's like, do you have Poisona? You can cure poison? You have that spell? You have Erase? Okay, and cure. All right, great, you're fine.
Bard was another one. Bard was another good one. It's like, just stand there and sing. I don't care if you're 4 levels below.
Oh,
or 2 levels.
Geomancer. I leveled up Geomancer in like 3 days from 0 to 99 or 100 or whatever. And 99, I think it is, in 11. And it's because once you've actually broken all the level caps, like I know in 11 you got stuck on rank K5. Where you have to, excuse
For a
me.
while.
Yeah, we
Not
have to
the
fight
final
Matt.
The final mat fight. Well, but see, that was because I was a little foolish in the way that I went about things, you know.
You were insistent on using your slash ninja, and then you never level up your great axe.
That is nothing. Well, that's irrelevant. You could use slash ninja with a great axe. It's just
You lose your subclass going into the mat battle.
Yeah, it's still has nothing to really do with it. Because you could also go slash thief with an axe and be pretty powerful for the triple attack or whatever. But no, it was because I wanted to use sword instead of axe. That was a big killer. Because I had longsword maxed and I had.
You were leveling your blue mage.
I had axe maxed. No, this was long before blue mage. I just was a young kid, and I'm like, there's something that's ingrained into you as a young American kid that, yeah, 2 long swords, like so.
A little bit of Spartacus and Maximus Aurelius from Gladiator.
It's just well, this is not then shit, but maybe the old Spartacus. But yeah, so it's engraved into you. So I didn't have my axe, my great axe leveled is what it was. So I had my axe maxed and all that, but Rampage is just not quite enough. And then I was poor. Like, Gil's no joke. Like, you know what I mean? Gil's a joke in 14. I try to explain this to people when they first come to the game. I'm like, just do the dungeons. You'll get your
This was
experience.
because of Gil sellers. You could not, anything that dropped money, there was hundreds of Chinese characters chilling there, just waiting for the monster to spawn so they could kill it, sell it, and then sell it for real money. Like, some of these items were worth hundreds of real American dollars. Don't ask me why. Somebody would pay hundreds of real American dollars, but they did.
For short periods of time, yeah. Well, was the riddle tradable? No, I don't think so. That was rare X. I think you had to keep it.
Well, yeah, right now they have.
But there were certain items that were tradable.
Remember the Hexa Club, the Octa Club or whatever, the Hexa Club that does 8 hits. That one still sells for like
Kraken
60.
Club?
Kraken Club, there we go. I think still sells for like 60 mil. If you check out ffxiah.com, it's still like
on
stupid
Siren.
high. Yeah, on Siren server.
What?
Yeah.
I'm never gonna go back to 11. It's been so many years.
Oh man,
60 mil for a Kraken Club still after all these years.
I have these earrings on my character that are like 4 mil each,
and it's like all magic skills +4. It's like one of the best earrings you can have. But once you're 99, 4 mil is actually kind of easy to get. Believe it or not, it takes maybe like an hour.
Fine, 4 mil, easy. Yeah, 60 mil, geez.
No, that's some time. You're looking at a whole weekend for 60 mil.
But that's also going back to what we were talking about earlier. I might have been before the podcast. I honestly can't remember. But that Kraken Club is level 73, I think. And dude, it's great at 99. 14 nothings like that. I mean, forget level ups. As when the next expansion or the patch comes out, new gear will come out, and you got to get all the new gear.
Yeah. All right, so we're rambling on about games and equipment and stuff. And anybody who's played MMORPGs or anybody who's played trading card games is familiar with a lot of the terms we're talking about. Let's try to go back a little and just summarize some of the ones that we played. So trading card games, we started with Redemption. Then we probably played Pokemon. Then Yu-Gi-Oh! Then Magic the Gathering. Then a bunch of digital ones.
Oh, dude, you got to dial back there. See, your memory's horrible.
I'm skipping Star Wars and Star Trek card games. Yeah, it was one of my first side jobs.
Yeah, we got those forever. It's a bunch of those cards, Star Wars,
Star Trek cards. Yeah, but we didn't play it. I can't tell you the rules of those games very well. It was more like we liked the characters. Yeah, we played that for the collectability.
Yeah, we collected them, but it was a trading card game for sure.
I mean, I even collected Card Captor Sakura cards and all these other ones and stuff. I love card games.
Yeah, but that's just like having a deck of tarot cards. I mean, there's only so many.
Yeah, well, it's true. There's not as many characters and stuff in those.
Yeah, so I mean that is a little different.
A little bit, but still, I mean, like if there's something like that with collectability. But anyways, so those are pretty much the card games. MMORPGs started with us for EverQuest. Definitely was the first one we played, and we used to fight over the only household PC until eventually I built my own, and then built Josh his first one, and that wasn't even powerful enough to play EverQuest. I think we tried Dark Age of Camelot on it.
Let me think here. Dark Age of Camelot was probably when we were a little bit older, maybe.
But that was right after EverQuest. We moved on from EverQuest to Dark Age of Camelot.
Yeah,
and then Final Fantasy XI.
In Final Fantasy XI.
I did like Lineage 2 and Guild Wars and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, there was Guild Wars, Lineage 1 and 2. I don't know about 2 was out yet, but Lineage 1
I beta tested for Lineage 2. I remember being involved in the
that still would have been after. I think that still would have been after 11 came out.
Yeah, it was after. I mean, I beta tested for 11 too. I got into any beta test I could get my hands on. I loved it.
Beta testing for 14 was pretty fun. I hate when beta tests are like beta test weekends.
Yeah, well, because it's like, come on, can't you put it on, like, I don't play MMOs on my weekend. I do fun things on my weekend. Yeah. MMOs for me was like, I'm tired from work. I just worked. I just want to sit at home and relax and play a game.
I enjoy closed beta, I do, but sometimes when they do those, only certain times it's stressful. Because you get the good player base with closed beta because they're taking the time to actually go and do it. So everybody's pretty cool. But then it's like, damn, I've only got this weekend. I mean, I can't even describe to you how many. I mean, every beta got up to like level 22, 25.
Mobs built up in certain areas where the relevant content was. Just crowds of lag.
Yeah. Well, that's always happens. I mean, not just in betas. Anytime like new content or seasonal. Anytime a seasonal event happens in an MMO, holy crap.
Yeah, agreed. So I would say after some of that, you moved into 14 a little bit. I didn't really have a powerful enough PC initially.
There's a lot of crap in there. I mean, not Dungeons and Dragons Online.
Oh yeah, Dungeons and Dragons Online. Man, we played Phantasy Star Online for a while too.
Phantasy Star. That's not really an MMO.
Kinda. I paid per month for that on GameCube, man.
True. That is true. You got a subscription. That's true.
Yeah.
Subscriptions. God, that was fun. I was ashamed I couldn't get that working on my PC for some reason.
Oh, we'll get it working. And we will have a Let's Play, too, at some point, because I don't think Sega's going to sue us for bringing them any attention.
But Phantasy Star Online was too fun. And I mean, it was kind of... It's funny, too, what made it fun, because, I mean, looking back, it was simple and kind of stupid. You know, just make sure you press this button at the right time. If you're not a mage.
Your positioning in the level was very important, because if you weren't paying attention, 5 or 6 dudes on you start just whacking on you. And the game just goes red.
That was really it. It's just know your surroundings and then time your button presses was really the big
part. Oh, don't try to grab the item when it was a bad time. Like sometimes you'll see that item and you're like, I'm going to feed that to my mag. I need that item so bad.
Kill the bad guys first.
Yes, kill the bad guys first. But, yeah, I mean, I personally, I became a judge on Magic the Gathering because I was such a huge fan of it. It was probably my favorite. It's the most complicated trading card game. I love 11 probably more than any other MMO. It got the most hours of time in my life, and I even went back to it numerous times. Um, there's a lot of other great games. EverQuest is a really amazing game even to this day. Um, Obviously, a lot of the content isn't relevant anymore. It's kind of like, oh, let's just wander through some empty zones. But I mean, I can tell you, if you go to Kelthen, which is the Wood Elf town, and just walk through there, those were the stomping grounds for so many people. Or through the halls of Freeport, like there was so much going on in these towns. And then like the Dark Elf town, and oh
Oh,
man,
it was fun. You know, back in the day, it was fun. One time I got, I'm like, who will pay me to jump off this? Yeah.
people pay for the dumbest stuff, or like just let me duel me, and I pay 1 platinum for some people to duel me. There'd be like just do some dude sitting outside of town, or like you'd have role players that would be like, I hate high elves and I will kill anyone who's willing to fight me right now, and like people got real into it.
Yeah, that was the good old days, though, to be honest. It's just not like that anymore. Now it's
It's
just
like objective. It's over
so
there.
much
Get it
bickering.
done.
Yeah, so much
Award.
bickering, so much fighting, and then, yeah.
RNG gods. RNG gods. RNG gods.
Yeah, I'm so sick of
RNGesus.
hearing that. Yeah, so sick of hearing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's what makes roleplay servers kind of fun sometimes.
I
Maybe
mean,
I'd have more fun on 14 if I transfer to a roleplay server.
once people realized that you could sell and drop and trade more items on the roleplay server, people stopped role playing on it and just started playing on it, and with more.
Well, I
more
don't
selling.
remember. What are you talking, EverQuest?
EverQuest, yes, it's just the Front of
Okay.
A server. Don't ask me how I remember that. That was like over 10 years ago, but yeah.
Not even. You probably played it like 4 or 5 years ago. Try it out again.
Oh yeah, I definitely did. But I meant like still, I don't know how I remember the name of the server. But if anybody wondering, those the servers we played on because it was the role playing server.
Yeah, I don't remember.
There's
Which server it was.
we're starting to get up on the hour. We're already past the hour mark, so as usual, I would say we're talking for a little bit more. But I don't know how many views we have this time. I'm not managing the channel feed this time around. That would be Mr. Josh. But we do appreciate anybody who's been tuning in with us live this entire time. We're still we're just wanting to talk. You know, we're just wanting to have some fun and talk about things that we're passionate about. As I say on the categories for the podcast, it's about tech, politics, and gaming. Today was a more gaming-centric episode. We got into MMOs and trading card games. And give us feedback. For the reason I felt that would be really good to talk about games is we've had a lot more views and downloads and things based on our gaming conversation. And I think it does get a little more energetic. Also, I guess maybe people might be a little too tired of politics lately. It's been a little extreme. There's a lot of stuff going on, but that probably will be one of our next episodes once I can wrap my head. And I think Josh too. We're absorbing right now. There's a lot going on in the world. Like I was talking to Josh about James Comey's firing and how he feels about that, and like how I don't want Trump to be a crook. Like nobody wants the president to be a crook. You know, like I insult him sometimes for being stupid here and there, but I don't want him to be a crook. And I know Josh, you know, we talked about where we stood before, and that's probably a topic. I imagine that, you know, every day something new's happening now, new information, this and that. And it's not just about that end. I mean, there's the leaks too. Like there's leaks. Trump isn't exactly full of crap about that. Like there's more leaks coming out of Washington D.C. than there ever has been. So there's like a whole new environment and stuff going on there, and I've watched the news every day especially since I had a kid. It got even more dedicated, and I can't even keep up anymore. And I've been somebody that's been keeping up with this for years and years and years. So once I've wrapped my head around the events a little bit more, like we're not even talking about the healthcare bill anymore, because the whole Comey thing took over, and it's like there was a lot going on with that, and there's just a lot to digest. So we'll definitely be chewing into that in our next episode.
Yeah, politics are in current events, should I say, are
Something we will discuss a lot.
Oh, well, it's just a little more readily available. There's always something there to either praise or bitch about.
Absolutely. But, you know, these are other things that we're passionate about. Like, we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and other games. We sit there and screw around RPGs. Josh has been trying to get the Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst mod and all that stuff set up so we could try to go back to that. I mean, there's lots of great games out there to play. We're essentially, a lot of the younger players and everything, these are games that they don't even know exist. So we're trying to share with you guys things that we did that really were amazing and really changed how we look at games and what makes us even appreciate games. And then maybe you'll get to see why games shifted the way they did, because some games made it and some games just sucked. And that evolution has made games what they are today, which unfortunately for a lot of games is crappy free-to-plays. But there are still some amazing games like Breath of the Wild.
Well, and I mean, like Solstice would be a game.
Going back to NES.
Yeah, NES Solstice would be a great game for modern times because it had like a Witcher kind of feel, kind of like magic and save people and all that. And they could have ran it. It didn't have to be a puzzle game anymore. You know, they could have taken it and really made it something quite awesome. Because Solstice was really great. They made a sequel. I believe it was on the Super Nintendo, Equilibrium, maybe.
I never got to try the sequel. Yeah, I remember when I beat the first one, it took years, and I was like, oh my god, I finally beat it. And the ending was actually kind of lame. It was just like, oh, I have the... Oh, wait, never mind. We're not going to get the spoilers. But let's just say it's short.
What's that?
The ending of Solstice. It's like 50 seconds, tops. Maybe even 15 seconds, and then it's over. And you're like... I've been solving puzzles and wandering through this stuff for like 8 hours, man. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. No, it is a very good game. But I think it was Equilibrium was what it was called, was the sequel, and I never got a chance to try that. But great game that could have been really awesome. Even some games like Gauntlet could be great these days. I think Gauntlet Legends or maybe someone on the Xbox was probably the last time we ever...
Well, the localized play, I think, is... There's some aspects of gaming, right, that we experience as kids because the internet sucked and it wasn't very good yet, and gaming systems weren't connected yet. Halo 2 was the first time anybody could really get online and see how good you were, and I think that's when we all realized that we were good, but we weren't the best players in the world. And
yeah, for real. So maybe the best locally, and then...
best in our town, maybe best in the county, not best in the world.
Well, because, everybody would get together with their little groups in real life and shoot each other up. And then, you get online and you're like, whoa.
But you hit that point, and before that, we would come into a church or go into a friend's house or go to a place like an event, rent out a venue from somebody and start hooking up TVs and stuff and have local tournaments and have LAN play parties. And this is essentially the only way you could really do multiplayer. I mean, essentially it all started with Doom. I mean, we were even kind of too young for it then, but people would hook up their computers and play Doom multiplayer first-person shooter matches on PCs. And that system has followed all the way up until about Halo 2. I mean, people are going to start yelling, Counter-Strike! And you're right. Counter-Strike did it first on the PC, I admit. But it didn't become mainstream until Halo 2. And at that point, consoles started to own it.
No,
but that was local. Everybody going into a TV, getting their stuff. Oh, nobody plays the short guy. Laptop. Wait, I'm getting it perfect dark with the laptop gun.
Yeah,
but regardless, So these things are essentially what brought us a lot of joy. These are the things that you start to see in games today. But some things you're never going to really be able to see because games aren't played the same way. Nintendo with the Wii and the Wii U really was trying to get that house party thing going again, but even then it wasn't very successful. So
like the Mario Party games and stuff were fairly popular on the 64, and then they just tried to continue them on into the Wii, and they're pretty fun.
Not like the 64 one. Mario Party 2, I think, was like the most beloved of them all.
Great one, yes.
So that's what I mean. You see these great games, and some franchises are really successful. Like even Zelda. We love all the Zeldas. But I can tell you without a doubt that latest one it just blew my mind. Like it made me, I even tried to play Twilight Princess after I beat it, and I was just like frustrated the entire time because I'm like, this is such a limited and small game. So sometimes a game improves, but that's not always the case because like for instance, Skyward Sword on the other hand, dumbed Zelda down. So the motion controls worked. It was like the dumbest Zelda. It was a fun game, but there was very little mental involvement in anything, in any of the puzzles or anything, because it was all motion oriented.
I think we're going to see a lot of sequels breaking the older games as new features come in, as developers listen more to what the people want, because it's fairly obvious. You look at some of these, like the open world Zelda, obviously, and I mean, you go and play
Resident Evil going back to creepy door openings.
Yeah,
like it sounds so stupid, but it's like, all the Resident Evils, you're just busting through the door real fast and everything else. One of the scariest things was, what the hell is behind that door? And sometimes that slow door, there's a monster that shoves back. And you're like, oh, crap, oh my God. And you're freaking out about it. So that was such a magical feeling. Or like, I don't know if you remember like Alone in the Dark, like the original one. It was like pixelated wandering around a room. And then like 20 seconds later, like an alien pops through the window. And it doesn't even give you any time. It's like, yeah, by the way, you were trying to get the controls? No. You're going to die if you don't figure something out in like 30 seconds. So
the first Parasite Eve was pretty creepy too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like that level of fear, you don't really feel it anymore in games. You're like, oh, look, this looks like a boss zone. There's cover over there. Looks like there's some event that I'm going to use to beat the boss over there because it looks like there's a furnace or something. And, oh, look, there's a hallway. Okay, so I'm going to walk there. There's probably going to be an event or cutscene. And then I'm going to fight the boss. And then you walk over there and it all happens. And that isn't a horror game anymore. You're kind of actually playing an adventure game.
Yeah. Yeah, or shoot 'em up is kind of what Resident Evil became for a little bit there.
Exactly. So when I saw 7, I didn't play it yet, but I saw videos. I was like, oh, thank God, it's scary again. Like, I just, you remember. Like, remember, we stayed up all night playing Parasite Eve. I played it, but you were watching Parasite Eve 1. We stayed up all night. We couldn't go to sleep. It was like, it's time for bed. And Mom's like, it's time for bed. And I was like, I'm not going to sleep until I see the resolution of this shit. Like, this is ridiculous. And then when we finally beat it,
alien babies, people exploding. It's like, yeah, this
people just melting. And then, like, we looked it up. I remember because the internet was still slow, but it's like, is mitochondria even real? And then you look it up and they're like, oh, yeah, it's real. So then it's like, oh, yeah, let's just go to sleep knowing this thing exists inside of us that had people melting in this game. And, you know, it's fiction, but you're young. And I don't know why, but we were able to get rated M games. I don't think people gave a crap about it back then. Nobody looked at ratings. And
and by the time they did, it was like, well, I'm 17.
Yeah. By the time anybody started really caring about it, we were old enough. But back then, oh man, that was scary as crap. I think I was like 12, or I don't even know how old.
Yeah, I was like 10 maybe.
I was too young to play that game. But still, it was a great experience. Maybe now we play it now. That one doesn't hold up. But Parasite Eve 2 kind of plays like Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's got the race car kind of driving controls. You know, you got to turn and then roll forward. But I don't know if it was quite so scary because you can kind of back yourself. Like the battles are scary, you're gonna die. But as far as actual fear, it's hard to say. Certain parts catch you off guard. It's got a lot of I forget what they call, like jump scares for sure.
To me, when I went down into like the lower area of the game, like, or when you get out of the town, things got really, I mean, I don't want to say scary, like I'm scared, terrified all the time, but I meant like, I was like, oh, wow, this is freaking, you never knew what to expect, and then you start getting into the labs, and then you start seeing the monkeys and stuff, and I mean, I don't know, I thought it was pretty scary. Like, it was pretty messed up.
Yeah, when you go to the Neo Arc, that's what I'm like.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're like, do we do this? Like, I remember the first time I went there, I was kind of like, I bet we do something like this already in real life, like our government. Like, not to go too crazy. I mean, it's probably not exactly like that.
Well, and being in New Mexico, you know, where I'm at.
That would be where it would be.
Kirtland Air Force Base, all that stuff gets me a little nervous. Like, there's this conspiracy about Dulce Base here, some kind of aliens or something. Some guy got blasted by energy. I don't know.
Start a new podcast, conspiracy podcast.
People can look into that. But that was pretty interesting for sure. But yeah, especially when you come to the desert, it's the Mojave. So they were over in Arizona, I'm assuming, in Parasite Eve 2, because it just says like Mojave Desert. But so western Arizona, I'm assuming maybe. And yeah, it was just like, jeez. And I mean, when you look back on, like, you know, the invention of LSD, you look back on what we've done in wars, you look back on the actual testing we have done on people. Yeah, but what you see in things like Resident Evil and Parasite Eve 2 with government facilities doing some testing, it just doesn't sound that
unfeasible. Yeah. Well, you never know. I mean, there's like, when you found out MK Ultra was real, anything's possible. That's what I see. Like, that was one of the conspiracy theories. It's like, wait, that happened? Oh, man. Oh, boy.
Not a theory no more.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, some people get called crazy and everything, but all right, we're bleeding a little past. Well, everybody who's been watching, thank you so much. You can find us on thunderbroshow.com, at thunderbroshow on Twitter, and Thunderbro Show on YouTube. I think we have an Instagram we don't look at very much yet, and let us know about the audio this time around. We've been tampering a lot with that. Josh should be coming in a lot clearer. And I had a comment about my glasses constantly reflecting, so I decided to do this podcast without my glasses. So there was that. Anything else? You could feel free to reach us at thunderbroshow@gmail.com as well. And that's about the gist of everything. Sorry to get a little off rails at the end there, but this is pretty much what we do. I mean, honestly, sometimes I just wish we would hit the record button when we're talking, because I'm like, stop, this is the good material for the podcast. What are we doing? So, we'll see. But thank you for following us, everybody. We're going to call this episode, I think, Trading Card Games and MMOs. And you can find it on our website and the audio as well. So if you want to help us out, other than that, feel free to rate and review on iTunes. That would be the biggest thing ever. And we will be introducing a prize for that soon. I want to do an Amazon gift card, but I mean, if there's something else that you think would be better, we can probably make arrangements for that. But there will be a contest coming where reviews, people who have done reviews, there will be a drawing and they will win. Now, we're not just talking you gave us 5 stars or whatever. I want feedback. I don't even care if it's bad feedback. I like them because of this, or I hate them because of this. Put some words there, not just it's good. You're not going to get in the drawing if you just put it's good, or if you just give us stars. Like, I want to see something. And then, all those people will get tossed into a bucket, and then whoever gets it will either scratch it off and email it to you or mail it to you or whatever. We'll figure something out. We'll get in contact with you. But I'll be giving you the information, amounts, and all that kind of stuff on the next episode that we air. We try to air weekly. Sometimes we get 2 in a week. And, yeah, thank you very much. You got any other parting words? I've been hogging up the air there, Josh.
No, just on YouTube, all the goodies. Like, subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe on YouTube, any of that kind of stuff. If you like the video in particular, like, I'm very focused on the audio on my end. I run the website. Josh is managing the YouTube end. But yeah, anything you could do that gets attention, subscriptions, and that kind of stuff. Like our video, they say, I'm not trying to be all like that, but I mean, if you want to support us any way you can, we'd appreciate it. We're a new and up and coming show, and we're going to be adding songs and clips, and I got a lot of stuff planned, but we're just right now, just really getting out there and seeing if it's something that people even like to listen to. And so far, we've gotten more response than I ever hoped. I couldn't even believe one person listened to the whole hour of our first episode. And then 20 people listened to it, and more than that. So, let's keep it up, everybody, and keep giving us feedback. We love it. Take care, everybody.
Peace.